Guess what we're making? I'm gonna show you how. Let's make it together. Hi, Bloomerinos. Are you ready to make the cutest patriotic wreath with me? Well, I knew right when I saw this, I had to have it, and it was gonna work perfect for our newest kit. Yep, this is a kit that has everything you need in it to create the exact design I'm making. Supplies are limited, so you gotta grab it when you first see the video, because in case you catch it on replay, you know it's gonna be sold out already. If you need the link to the kit, let us know in the comments. This kit includes everything you need to make it, all the florals. The only thing that is not in there is the wreath base, but you can add that on separately on the website, or you can use a wreath base you have at home. This one here starts off with this being our main part of the design, and it is the cutest patriotic star. Now the door hanger comes with a little Americana sign, and keep that for another project, but we're going to go ahead and snip that off with our wire cutters to get this one started. And just take that one off the bottom here. All I'm going to do is just trim that little first wire, and then you can always use this for another project. So we're going to do that first. Just take the Americana part of the sign off. And as we do that, then I'm going to tell you kind of how I think I want to place this. Now it comes with this great wire at the top, and what I want you to do is leave a little wire on each of these, okay? Just leave a little bit up there because it's cute anyway if you leave a little curly. We might use one of those, but we're going to use this wire right here to attach this to the back, okay? And then I can attach it to the wreath. So I'm going to come over here to the side, and we will take and place it kind of off center. Well, really off center, because on this design we're going to come off to the side. So see, these are kind of cute hanging on there anyway. So what I want to do, let me scoot my little base over, is I'm going to come like right here and hang it. And then all of our gorgeous florals are going to complement this location. Now, if I put it where one curly is up at the top, you have to kind of put it like this because we want it to look like the star, like the flag where the stars are there and then the stripes are here. So we're going to do just something like that. I'm going to come in the back here, and I don't even need more wire because I can take my black wire we already had and just go around these two that are on here. And now I can take, just like that, I twisted it around, and now I'm going to wire it right to the wreath base. So just do a couple of twists. I went in opposite directions so I could make sure it had a little bit of pressure holding it. And now I'm going to use this to wire it onto the wreath base. So we're going to do that next. I got the first part of the wiring. I'm going to flip it around, and you can see it coming through here. Now just take and cinch it up tight. And the only thing you want to do is try to keep that direction to where that part of the flag star is up. The stars, the blue is in the right position. Boom, shakalaka. And then you can cut the little wires off if you don't like them, or leave the little curls if you do. I think they're kind of fun. Now, when I'm done here, I need to trim that really neat, because guess what? We don't want to scratch anybody's door. We want to do a good job of keeping it really neat and clean. And boom, the flower is on. That is literally going to be the hardest part here. It's on. Now let's start to get the real flowers in. I mean, the real artificial flowers, because that's the funnest part. Okay, let's go. Now our greenery, I wanted to go with a kind of a little bit more rustic vibe in this, so I went with this beautiful eucalyptus here. Now this eucalyptus has that real look, so it's that really kind of darker olivey green. So we're going to use this as our greenery in here. And these come in these great clusters. They're perfect for vases and things like that, the way they're set up. Actually easier to work with than real eucalyptus. But I'm going to trim it to where I get a couple of sections out of there. One will have 3 and one will have 2. And we're going to do that right now. Do you guys like the smell of real eucalyptus? This is artificial, so it doesn't have any smell, of course, but tell me if you do. And don't forget, this is a kit, and you can grab the whole kit right here on Keleas.com. Now, start with one of these sections of 3. I have the electric skillet going with the hot glue in the back, so I'm going to take and give it some glue, so you can see I've got hot glue on there. And I'm going to start to shape out my design. So in design school, we would call this, we're creating the perimeter, and that means we're putting in the greenery in the background. So another thing we use, just to be a little more polished, is I use some Spanish moss in here to cover. Now that's like a supply item, so it doesn't come in your kit, but it helps cover the mechanics of what we're doing. Now that I got my first piece in, I'm going to come and bring my second piece in. I'm going to come a little bit closer down here to the middle and start to create this perimeter. Come on down, come on down. Another thing I'm always telling my students is you've got to make sure that you are going into the grapevine. We're not going through to the back, we're going in. All right, now let's have another one just kind of coming more towards the foreground. Let's cut another piece. But you can see how fun that is, how full it is too. And it's the perfect green for this color. Because this is a more muted design. Wait till we get the berries in here in a minute, you're gonna love it. So we just keep cutting them into the 2 sections of 3 is the easiest way to do that. So break it up. What I mean is, see, there's 3 here, and there's 3 stems there. You got to cut it where you leave some good wire, though, to go in. You can't just trim those. And everything we teach in design school, I show you step by step how to work with each piece. In our designing, I like to eliminate steps to make it more efficient. See, I've sold thousands and thousands of wreaths online, so I had to make ways to be able to teach my employees how to create the wreaths quickly, too, after I designed them. So we had to kind of simplify the process, so it really helps me be a better teacher in design school because of the classroom aspect of I already know how to break the process down because I had to teach others at firsthand in our business how to do it. All right, I got my first 2 pieces. Now you're just going to, we're going to try to do the exact kind of similar placement down below here. I don't want to go out too far because I want to make sure I keep it kind of tight on the design. Now see, this was giving me a little more trouble going in because there's some crisscross grapevine in there. It's okay. We're going to get it in, just wiggle it. And you can see that's kind of layering. I'm going to move it up a little. It's layering down here and going over the star. We call that breaking the plane in design school. It's a very important aspect of how I design and my style. So if it's a style that you like, just take that into consideration. Now these are all wired, so I can manipulate them basically however I want. Some natural looking, some not natural looking. Now I'm going to back this piece up more to where the bow is going to go so we get good placement. I like to design in ways that are super pleasing to the eye, where every floral kind of has its own space. So I love to teach that in class. But this, when you get a kit, the great thing about that is it's a great introductory way to start. You don't have to invest in a whole lot of supplies. You are going to need some wire cutters and some scissors for your ribbon. And you can get more supplies as you create more and decide, hey, I want to do more. Maybe I'll invest in a bow maker. Maybe I'll get an electric skillet. You can still do all this with a glue gun too. You can even put the things in and not glue them if you're just making it for yourself. A lot of times the grapevine will hold it pretty well until you're ready to glue it and get started. All right, I've got a couple more of my clusters of eucalyptus. We're going to hold these off to the side and we're going to use those towards the end of the project. Now I want you to grab your next one, and this is a really pretty one. It's got all the patriotic florals. You're going to grab that, and it's just a red, white, and blue coloration. These are wired so nicely though. I love for you guys to come and shop on Keleas.com because the things we carry are higher level than you're going to get at the big box stores because they have wires to the tip, and it's not just a plastic edge, which gives you kind of a flat finish on your designs. If you have a wire to the tip of a floral, then I can make it look like a real flower. I really can. I can make it reach out. I can make it look different directions. I can control that, and that's the advantage of designing with silks. You have that opportunity to shape it up. So I grab those. I'm going to shake hands with those, but even before I put those in, I've got to get my berries. So my berries are a big part of this design because it's bringing out this kind of creamy color in there in a floral. So I love that. So you're going to cut these down to where they have a couple of inches on the stem. We don't need it really long. And you just trim that off at one of the little indentions. That's what the indentions are for. Those help you get your cuts. So I'm going to take my first one and we're going to layer it right here on top of the eucalyptus. So I've got a good amount of that going in. There you see how it's just a pretty combo with those colors. Y'all, when I put a wreath kit together, you're getting my expertise to lay out all the colors and the designs. And you know, you don't have to even worry if the products are going to go together because they do. You can see how well they work together. There's our first berry cluster. Now we're going to put another one on top. So what we do in the bottom, we're doing in the top. And just kind of mirror imaging it right there. And this cluster is going to run up here, kind of in this zone right here together. in between those eucalyptus. I think that works excellent. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a bend. I want it to curve over. We call this a C-shaped design where it's a C right here. It's a staple of my business. I love to do C-shapes. We do, 360 designs too, where they go all the way around. I love those also, but this is some of my favorite to design. My students will tell you, our Keleas Blue Merinos will say, Clay doesn't like things matchy. I don't. I like it to have a feel that it goes together, of course, but it's not just perfectly matching. All right, I am going with my other Americana stem, and we're using those great wires in there to shape it up. And I'm going to put one on the top and one on the bottom. And this is where all our colors coming in. So I made this nice neutral backdrop, right? And this is our pop of color. And that'll get us the red, white, and blue to kind of coordinate. So take these, and we're going to trim these down to like about a 3-inch stem. I'm going to trim both of them. And these are going to have them layer up a little bit tighter. So they'll be layering on top of the berries, but a little bit more towards the center and more towards the middle. All right, so I'm going to give that a twirl in the glue pot and come right here towards the center. Put it in right here. Look at that. Oh, yeah. And flip these around. Look at there. See, I told you all those wires, they are worth their weight in gold because now you can see the dimension. You may not be able to tell. Let me show you. See how far we're coming off? The flowers in the background, then this is all coming off. That just makes a really beautiful wreath on somebody's door. They will love it. Now let's take the other one we already shook hands with, just like Keleas Blue Merinos know what we're talking about. Even on these leaves, I'm going to separate them a little bit because they have those good wires. And I don't like to see the backs of leaves if possible. We're going to flip them around. And this one's going to layer in the same zone right here. Up above. We're layering on top of the berries, but kind of in that same little area. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a bend. And we're going to just get that in the glue pot and bring it right in. Let's go up here. Yeah. Isn't that fun? So the next thing we need to do is get a bow, because our bow is going to go right into this center we left open. We call that the bow zone in KDS, and that's a center area, that transition area where we put a bow. So we did the bow on a separate video. If you need the link to learn how to make the bow, let us know here in the comments. We'll get you that. But I'm also going to put it right in here. And don't forget, the links to all the videos are always on the supply list for the projects. So if you're watching this later and night, you're not getting a response back, just go to the supply list for this product on Keleas.com. It'll be for this wreath kit. It'll have the links where you can watch it on whatever social media you want. You can watch it on YouTube, you can watch it on TikTok, you can watch it on anywhere we can put it. We've got it. And if it's up there, we'll have the links for it. So the bow that's going to go in here, we made what we call a funky bow. And it's turned out so cute. It's all those same rustic colors. Now I'm going to give this a little bit of a turn so this goes down a little bit. And then the bow is going to pop right in here. So I'm going to put that in next. You can see immediately how that pops together. So don't get these too close here. Unless you decide on your wreath kit you don't want to use a bow, then just back these up where they crisscross and you're good to go. And you can just put a berry cluster right in the middle. Now our cable tie is back here, ready to go on. I'm going to go right through the center. Going right through the center. All right, and then I'm going to take this and we will tie it right here in the middle. And I'm not going to get it too tight at first. I'm going to get it started tightening, and then I'm going to fluff it. And then once I know exactly, okay, I like that there. The fun thing about these is we can work those tails in around the florals and everything. I love that. And we can bring flowers up into the bow, like I just brought this little creamy white flower in there. See how cute? And we work that right in. Our last few steps are what we call the detail work, and we want to really focus on bringing the eye in kind of to the bow and looking at our flow, and then we look for holes to fill in. So I'm going to use my eucalyptus here, and now I'm going to take and just pull it off the stem so that I have individual pieces. If you just pull these, the wires will come out, and you can take and use these individually. And the neat thing is we'll be able to break the plan into different elements in this design by doing that. So I'm going to start over here with the outside of the bow, And you do need to get a good amount of glue on these because they have that smaller wire. So get in here and do that. Oh, and I didn't tighten up the bow, so I'm going to tighten that up and cut this piece off. At first, I usually just put it in and fluff it, but don't forget to grab that little tail off the end of the cable tie. So I'm going to put some eucalyptus in behind here, kind of laying out this, just like this. Yep. A little bit up and down, so we're working that same shape. Give those a little bit of a curve. Okay, and I'm going to do one more, maybe to the inside, because I want to layer it up. So come right out of the bow, right underneath, and now it's going to layer this on top. So now this eucalyptus doesn't just go in the back, it also comes from the foreground. And that's another skill that I teach every week in design school. We really work on how to create that depth. I'll bring this one in, and make sure you let these florals come forward because we also want them showing up. And this fun little greenberry was in there. I love it. Oh gosh, y'all, this looks great. I'm gonna put a little more up high. Now you can wait and double check if you have any holes at the end too, if you wanted to keep a couple of pieces. I'm pretty confident we got it pretty well covered. And the next step I want to do is after I get these last few pieces of eucalyptus in, I really want to rock out the berries close to the bow. We saved one berry bush to make that happen, so let me grab it. Now, instead of using it long, we're going to cut these into different little sections because we want to tuck these in around the bow. So I'm going to take, and we're going to trim like this guy can stay as one piece here, and we'll just nip it off pretty short, like that. So these is its own little cluster. And then I'm going to take these and divide them into two also. So this is its own cluster, and this is its own cluster, okay? Now, I'm going to work pretty much two pieces above the bow, maybe one below, and I'm trying to work in here. So the biggest cluster here has 5 berries, and I think it would work good right in here tight to the bow. So I'm going to get that in the glue, give it a little twirl in there, and then we're going to come down, put it right in here. Look at that. Yeah, that looks great. That cream is working awesome in here because it's popping all those colors, and it's making that eye go deeper into the design. I love that. Now let's put one down in here. I'm going to pick one that has a little bit of a longer stem to come right into this section. So I'm going to pull this up, and we'll layer this a little bit tighter to the base. Now it's a little bit in the background, but just work it towards the foreground. You can always do that. Okay, so we have, these are more in the foreground. The first ones we put are in the background. You get how we're creating the depth? I think you do. I think you do. Now I'm going to put my last piece over on this side, kind of tucking tight into the bow and breaking that plane of the bow. I love that. One of my favorite things to do designing is just get in here and really pop it. I'm going to bring that a little more forward. Oh, yes. Y'all, can you believe we did this that quick? I hope you enjoyed this process, and I hope you're excited to play with your own wreath kit. Grab one for yourself on Keleas.com. Learn how to make it step by step with us. And when you're ready to go to the next level, you got to come join us from Design School, because every week we have a new project we make together, and you always have a supply list where you can shop for what you want right on our website. You don't even have to leave your house. We make it just so easy. And yep, Design School members do get discounts on orders, so it's always a great way to get the best price on our website. All right, I can't wait to see you next time. Bloomerinos, y'all go have fun with flowers and show us what you're making. I can't wait.